Yo, yo, what's good? It's Black and Tan live. And we here with my homie Absolute. And we just gonna be vibing today. One of our first episodes. So yeah, man. So let everybody know about what you do and.
Oh man, first of all, I'm excited. I've been knowing you for a while. I
Yeah.
started off in Westchester, but I'm here representing myself and also Life Recording Studios, and it's been a dream, just chasing it, starting from the bottom and pushing through. Certain circumstances with being homeless and just having the music in the background.
Yeah.
Just something to look forward to.
I feel you. Okay, okay. So I mean, so what's your story? Like what's Absolute about? Like where did you get the name from? Like
All right, I got the name from my homie Todd. I was drinking Absolute vodka, and I had too much, and he was like, I woke up and I was in a shower, and he was like, "Bro, you absolutely could rap, but you absolutely threw up all over my house."
Oh
He was like,
man,
"That's your
oh
new name."
man.
So it stuck with me ever since.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope.
I got the name.
So Absolute stuck with you. So what does Absolute do? I mean, what is it? Like, what are you? You a rapper? You a spoken poet? You a videographer? What do you do? So
I do videos, spoken word. I'm an MC. I love working with rappers, up and coming artists, pop stars.
my man said he's a hip hop artist, spoken word. You got your own label, Flight for Life Recordings.
Yes. I can't say how I wanted to because I need bigger building, bigger situations.
It's all right.
You gotta start somewhere.
Yeah. Started from the bottom.
I would just say this to everybody: it starts with a dream, and then just work on the little goals to get to your bigger dream. That's what got me to where I'm at now.
Bet. So, what would be something that you would, preach to the youth, the world, like, people out here that are on the similar path to you and what you're doing and things to give back to your community and, starting up your own thing? Like, what would you say? What's some inspiration for
Man,
people?
I'm not a real spiritual person, but it gotta go with the big word of manifesting and knowing what you want to do. And then you gotta have respect for you and others to be able to have enough confidence to ask to work with other people. Like it took a lot for me to
dig down the bottom. Some humility. Yeah, practicing humility. That's a big thing. We all battle with that. Myself as well. Being able to have the courage to ask for help is a big deal, man. And yeah, I would agree definitely. So that's definitely some advice out there for the world. Practice a little humility and be able to humble yourself enough to ask for help when needed. Yeah,
Don't
man.
be afraid, man. Because like it's people like me that's out there. We want to help out, but we don't know where to help out or how to help out. The best way to make an effect on the situations that's going on with everything that's happening right now, no matter what color you are.
Yeah.
I just think that if we respect each other's goals and recognize that if you have point A, point B, but you're working towards point B, that's being successful. It's not having money and having cars and all these things. It's working towards getting those things is what's I feel is being successful with.
Yeah. Getting your priorities in check. I feel you. So we're gonna jump off topic and we just gonna vibe and talk about life, man. Because everybody, we all go through similar struggles and things. So how do you feel like the world is right now? Like the turmoil and everything going on. Like, what do you think it's really stemming from? I know it's a long rooted, behavior of just repetitive stuff in, our culture and things especially. But what do you think there's something going on that people are just really tired of, and people are starting to, you're seeing a lot more of, protests and things of that nature. You see a lot more, hopefully it doesn't happen again, but stuff at the Capitol building where they're storming. Like, what do you think is really going on in society? You as, coming from your point of view of life, of how you see things going on and developing through life, like, what do you think is?
What I want to get people to understand, definitely when I come from my music point of view, I'm coming from the 80s.
Yeah.
And I went through, as a younger person, a depression.
Yeah.
Another one in 2008.
Yeah.
The towers.
But that's something difficult in the black communities. We never really talked about that. I grew up in the 80s as well. And, we grew up to hip hop, breakdancing, graffiti, the whole nine, I grew up from that backpack hip hop style and, wild style and all that, stuff. But when that was something that was really never spoke about in black homes, I do know that from experience, like depression and, sometimes it was like, suck it up and push on, because your job is still going to be there tomorrow when you need to get up and go to work and the bills are still going to come in. But it's like that's deep right there, depression and things.
I just think it goes back to, I don't mean to sound like a robot. It goes back to admitting that you need help.
Yeah, there we go again, yeah.
Because back in the day, like I remember people going to my grandma asking if she had like stuff to make spaghetti and things like that, and she was more willing to help her neighbors, so they have something to eat. Now I think it's more of like so prideful, and I just don't see it in one race.
Yeah,
I see it in all races.
It's cross race and platforms. Yeah, man.
We could just
me personally, I know we're all different races and things of that nature, and I think the number one problem is people need to realize that there's only one race, the human race, and I think that's the bottom line. I understand there's black people, there's whites, Puerto Ricans, there's a lot of ethnicities across the planet, you know what I mean, and a lot of cultures and things, and what people need to realize, the bottom line is like people are people. And, we all go through struggles, some harder than others.
Yeah.
But it's like if we don't correct the issue that we recognize each other as human beings and we're one race to fight for one cause. And that's happiness and longevity of life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The longevity of happiness of life. And a lot of people miss that when they get stuck in the whole turmoil of everyday life, whether it may be bills or your friend got a raise at work and you felt you should have got that raise, and then that little bit of jealousy and that hate and that anger, you know what I mean? And I think that living in today's society, I feel like, a lot of that is pushed, on the media stations. And I'm not just saying social media, period, like the news, the radios, and all outlets of media, man, really push negative separation. And I feel music and art are universal languages that really will connect the world, you know what I mean? And it's weird because I come from a musically cultured family and things of that nature, and very artsy family, and we were humble people, but we had some pretty greats in our family that did good stuff. We were soccer family, you know what I mean? Some families grow up football, basketball, baseball. We were a soccer family, and I remember Pele was our legend. It wasn't like a Donovan McNabb or nobody like that. It was Pele was our guy in the family, Brazil number 10. And that was our thing. So like a lot of my, younger siblings actually played soccer, and a couple of my cousins, they did well in soccer and things. And then, but yeah, and I just feel back to what, we jumped off topic there, but art, I feel art is definitely what is, what I mean, art forms, because there's no color on that. And that's just the start of it, you know what I mean? When you hear a good song and you don't know who sings it, you don't automatically assume that it's a black person just because of how many people and how many different cultures are mixing musics and vibes and sampling each other's music. You don't really know who, you could hear somebody on a rhyme and swear it was a black guy, and then come to find out it was, a white guy from the UK. You know what I mean? That just happened to be a diehard hip hop head, and he just went hard on a track. And because just like actors change their voices over some of their movies, there's some hip hop artists that change their vocals to sound that Americanized hip hop. You know what I mean? And think about that. They're trying to relate to our story of hip hop here and saying their struggle as well as, relating to ours over here where that, originality of hip hop came from. But yeah, man, that's just my view on, how we can get people back together and fusing culture, because that's basically what the show is a root from. Black and Tan. Basically a friend of mine. He's gonna be probably my co-host here coming up real soon. We're not gonna spoil that yet, but we're just gonna say that I might be having the original Black and Tan back, and it started from a hip hop group, a rap group. A friend of me and him started a hip hop group back in the day, and it was crazy because we worked at this place with these two brothers, and I think they were Italian dudes, but they were really into music, bro. Like they played instruments, like a lot of instruments and things like that. And then come to find out, they had like a full out music studio in their basement, bro. In this random like old barn farm style house that was like renovated, and it was dope, yo. It was really dope. Like we pulled up, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. We're like in the middle of the woods. It's like a stone house, and I'm like, what is this? Dude, we got in the basement. It was just literally microphones, guitars, drums, like everything down there. And I'm like, wow. And what threw me off was, I'm a cannabis enthusiast. There's no secret to that. But dude, we get there, and my man had this like Chinese like straw hat upside down, full of herb, bro. And I was like, wow, this is gonna be a great time. Like, you know what I mean? So, dude, we we rolled up some L's and things like that, and I recorded my first EP with my boy. I'm not gonna say his name and spoil it, but it was the EP, man, Black and Tan Premium Blends, and it was, I don't really look at white people as white people because when we're truly not black people, we're brown, it's brown skin, and it's just weird to, put that kind of color to a race of people. Like we're Americans for one, Black Americans, and when people get that weirdly construed in African Americans, it's like, yeah, we have roots and lineage to Africa, but at first and foremost, I live in America and I'm black, so I'm an American. You don't really have to I don't call you an Italian American when we're talking about white people, or a Polish American. We don't really put that generalization on other cultures. Just like with the Black History Month, if you want to get technical, like why do we have to have 1 month where we're celebrating Black History Month? It's like we don't do like why we gotta generalize it and put it out there like, hey. But anyway,
it's I can answer some of those questions. When you're a group of people who have their homes taken from them, because the people who came created things called law of the land and law of the sea. And you're not a part of it, you don't know where you're from.
You can't conform to something new that you don't know.
Because you're already home. They just don't want you to know that you're already home. They just want you to believe you're from here or there, when it's proven fact that humans like us been all over this continent.
Oh yeah. That's definitely. Well, yeah, they see artifacts down in Mexico that are indigenous to Africa, and they're like, how does that happen? And it's like completely on the opposite side of a country.
And then they don't want to explain about how like the underwater like currents.
Oh yeah. I was literally looking at something about that the other day. It was like underwater lakes under the ocean.
Yes.
You ever see that?
Because
under ocean. It was down under the ocean. They call brine lakes, I think they're called.
Yes. And
brine,
they got waterfalls under there and everything. It's because the salt water
content
it's not mixing with the fresh water.
Yeah, it's something crazy. I'm not even kidding you. I think it was yesterday. I was looking at an article about under the ocean lakes. They're saying underwater lakes called brine lakes, and I was like, "What? That's wild, bro!"
It's like you're already underwater.
That's like you ever see that like the tropical is like a forest, under the ground.
Yeah.
It was like a cave, and it was like under the ground. It was like a natural rainforest or something down there. You ever see that? It's pretty wild.
It's pretty wild.
I'll post that right there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That goes for that. But the biggest thing I want to say is competition. That's what separates us from like dogs, cats, or anything. I think we're just naturally
the instinct of human beings to
want to be in competition. Because you hit it on the nose when you said somebody at work might got a raise and you felt like you deserved it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like jealousy that gets involved, and then people's emotions.
Competition would throw you off the task that you might be doing something you don't want to do day to day.
Yeah. Words. So
so that's why we're here with our art to separate that white and black and make it gray.
Yeah, I hear that, definitely.
That's what I believe. I believe that's why we make music, no matter if it's rock and roll, jazz. It's like you said, it's a communication that don't matter what color. Even I saw a bird.
Universal language.
Saw a bird at Mexico chilling there, listening with his neck, dancing with the people.
Yeah,
dubstep. I'm like,
that's
the
crazy.
Bird freaking knows.
Well, that's the thing. Music is a frequency. It's basically a frequency, and you think about it when they have like dog whistles and things. Like dogs can hear certain frequencies. You know what I mean? That we can't hear. So there are frequencies that dogs could hear that we could hear, and it's music. There's all of a variety of frequencies through there that dogs can feel. One is a sub frequency. You know what I mean? You can go into a club and play all high frequency music, and it's more of a head, like up here when you hear a higher frequency.
Okay.
But as soon as you drop that oots, oots, oots down in the sub, you could feel that in your lower region of your body, and it's like, that's where you get your groove from, and that's where you get the whole level of frequency. If you got a good DJ that knows what he's doing, he can be the MC, the master of ceremony, to control the vibe of the crowd by watching how people vibe to the frequencies, and that's a good DJ. I mean, that's something I did for years when I used to spin records and stuff, and now as creating music, I feel, whenever I come across that beat that I'm making that makes me feel emotional, that I'm starting to hit that right frequency, and I'm like, there it goes. But yeah, man. So any new projects that came up lately, or anything you've done that you want to stand out and let people know, like, check me out here? Or
y'all guys, I'm gonna leave this with him. It's my scan box. You can scan it.
QR codes.
You can go to Reverb Nation, and you can go to Instagram and find project I'm working on. It's called Man Behind the Mask. It's
dope.
Pretty much about situations that I've been through, and I made songs about them instead of sitting there letting it defeat me or make me go back in the past.
Yeah.
Worry about it. I'm sorry, because I'm just zoned out when I think about it.
Man. Don't worry about it.
It's like
just rock out vibes.
To be honest, it's like everybody make music for everybody else.
Yeah.
So it's like
everybody makes music for everybody else.
I do it for the both?
Yeah.
For me and for y'all.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I wanted to do in this one. And every time,
when you do that, especially when you're in the industry, I think, when you sign that record contract, man, there is no, I believe, of your own personal creativity, because they got a whole creative team, and they basically want you to do this contract and do that contract, and on this contract it says you owe us 5 albums and blah 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 blah, whatever. But the independent artists now, I see these days, yourself included, with people pushing their own music, that's when I see people actually pushing their own creative talent, and it's not for the people. You know what I'm saying? Like, how we got people on YouTube and TikTok actually getting their beats across, and it's their music. They're making their music and stuff, and it's their music vibe to the world. So I think that's where people are kind of getting it back to themselves. And, yeah, man. But
I just think, how can I say it? If as human beings, I'm not going to say it's not going to be people not liking somebody because just naturally we're here for competition.
Yeah.
Like you got the battle. You know, in hip hop you got battle. I don't know what they got in country music. I don't know. They got roasting. They got this. They got that. So we got football. We got soccer. So it's always that competition that's in this. Is we just gotta stop hurting each other over the competition when things don't go our way. And I think we'd be all
poor
right.
sports about it.
Best way to say it. It's
Stop
okay to
being
lose.
poor sports.
You can learn from losing.
Yeah.
Believe me, I
Losing
learned a
is
lot from
failure.
losing.
That's what people I think need to come across too and realize that like failure it does not mean you lost. Like you're done. Like that's just like as if me personally. I try to teach my kids this on an everyday basis. Like failing is just like a correction that you had to look back at and do. It's not like you drop the ball and you're done. It's like, oh my God, I can't do it ever again because I failed. And it's like, no, you need to kind of look back at that and critique yourself. Like, like look at the situation like, hold on, what didn't work about that situation? Like, I did this, I did that. Oh, you know what I mean? And that's what a lot of people drop the ball, I think. Right? And you know what I mean? I think a lot of people drop the ball with that when they think of failure because growing up, you were taught in a school system, A's are good, B's are okay, C's, you better start studying. You get a D. In my time, D's were passing, like, yo, you got a D? And it was like, I didn't fail. I didn't fail. But, we didn't really push for that. My kids, they average out on B's and A's, man. A C comes around on my kids, they get upset. And, like, we don't really... I stress education is key, but we don't push the fact of like, oh, like you're grounded, you're done, you gotta see, like, because I just teach my kids like you gotta try, like you gotta push yourself when it comes to education. Like you can't just like take the easy way where like, yeah, we're gonna take general math because you know what I mean? Because like, like this past 2 years ago, I think it was, I made my daughter. I didn't make her. I told her. I said you should try taking like a personal finance course, and she was like. They offer that? I said, yeah, look at your curriculum. I'm pretty sure you can look that up. And a lot of people are like, they don't teach us this stuff in schools, and they really do. But we just don't know what to look for. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know it was called a personal finance course when I was, and then I kind of figured things out over life. But then, like, yeah, I told my daughter, and she said it was beneficial for her because, like, balancing a checkbook, bank account, and credit, and debt, and things of that nature, and things you need to know that you wouldn't really know if you didn't take those courses just going through life if your parents didn't instill that in you. But yeah, man, so that's just something I be vibing out sometimes.
Nah, you're good because it's all the same thing. It's like what I wanted to say in that is if you go, I'd rather lose with a team than lose by myself. Like when I'm here by myself and I'm working on my projects, and I feel like I'm not reaching the potential I want. But if I was like losing with a team, at least I have other opinions about things that I didn't do right, so I could touch up on it.
I naturally don't think humans were meant to be isolated. I mean, sometimes you do need some isolation and to work to like some clarity. You know what I mean? Sometimes, but sometimes I feel like the mind works so well that sometimes you could get in your way. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a lot of people's, like I personally had to deal with that too, you know what I mean? Like trying to overcome, like, nah, and then, yeah, you could do it, and nah, man. And then you always look for like a doubt. And I believe it starts with that first word of the morning, not telling yourself maybe, or I'm going to try. I'm going to do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think we need to, as people as a whole, need to change that mindset to, I'm going to do it, you know what I mean, versus I'm going to try, you know what I mean? Because when you need a job, you know what I mean?
You get a job.
Get a job, right?
Yeah,
right?
You get a job.
You get a job. But whether it's a great job or like a decent job or like, all right, it's a job, you get a job. So it's like you go to school and you're like, yo, I'm going to get good grades on this thing, man. You know what I mean? And you study and you're like, you get a good grade, you know? And even if it's like a C plus or something like that, and then you're like, I really tried on it. So you kind of like give yourself that motivation of like, yo, that encouragement, you know what I mean? And I think a lot of people need to retouch with that too. So like, you know,
I think because you brought up your kids, and I want to say, this new generation coming up, they on it.
yeah,
They on it.
there's a lot of
And
benefits to it, man. There's a lot of
I think
pluses, but there's a lot of other stuff in the
I
world
think
today.
corporate America is
Yeah.
going to be in trouble in the next like 30 years because
Yeah, but you
people
gotta
are
be
the
careful.
kids are getting smart and they're
Yeah.
going to be like, if I can make money off of YouTube,
And it's not
and
even
this
about
and
being
that,
smart. They have ready, accessible knowledge at the touch of a button. And not even, you don't even touch buttons anymore. You can literally just say,
so you can see
You can
how the
talk to your
frustration
kid.
it is. It's
Yeah.
like, well, I got my iPhone in class,
You could
but
learn
I'm still
anything.
getting the F.
yeah.
That would kind of make you mad as a kid, you know.
Yeah.
So
You can learn, I mean, I think school is wild. Like nowadays, just because of the
Wild,
technology
West.
that we have now, it's like kids have ready, accessible knowledge to anything you're trying to teach them. Like they could learn anything at the push of a button, or the voice text through a voice text or something on Google or whatever. But anyway,
yeah.
I was hoping that didn't just mess up anything.
No,
I was
no,
listening, because you know, like technology, you know, you can't say certain keywords, it starts like doing something. But that right there. But
you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? I just feel like with the way school curriculums and everything needs to get redone. Like we need to sit down as people and realize that like it is a different time now. And the kids growing up, like you said, with corporate America, they're like, I don't want to come stand for 8 hours a day in your lines and check people out with attitudes. And when I could sit home and, you know, I can do something virtually from home and make twice as much money. And all I got to do is put the same amount of energy that I put into your job 40 hours a week. If I put that same 40 hours of energy into myself, I could probably make more money because I'm more focused in myself than I am you telling me what I got to do when I come to work. And I'm like, I don't feel good today and I really don't want to be there. You know what I mean? Or like, today's just one of them days where I'm just like, I mean, I know people are like, yo, there's that generation where people feel entitlement where like, yeah, we did come from an era where we worked. Like my era, we worked. Like you were sick, get up, go to work. Like you were sick, get up, go to school. But it was like, it was different times. And now, yeah, it is a more sensitive, you know, youth of America, they're saying, but they're smarter in an aspect because it's like, yeah, they are kind of entitled to certain things because they're driving our future.
Yeah.
Do we want to deny the people of our future just because they're on a smarter, not harder? You know what I mean? As I don't know about you, but that was my motto for a long time. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to work smarter, not harder. So, I mean, why not encourage people to that? I mean, I'm not saying, hey, like you should get everything. Like, you know, you just got a new job. So you think you should make the same amount coming in from the bottom right to the guy that's at the top. Like, yeah, you got to work a little bit for what you want. And we do need to instill that in the youth, I think. Like, you do have to work for something. And there is a certain thing as, you know, that drive. Like, you can't just, like, come into something and feel that, oh, that entitlement. You know what I mean? But, like, we should encourage the youth to work smarter, not harder, I believe. You know? Technology's there for people for a reason.
Yeah, it's just a wicked game. Because the people who know what they're doing, because they also paying for the schools.
Yeah.
So you do not want those kids to be smarter than what you want them to be, because then you ain't gonna have nobody working for you.
But you do. You
think about it.
You want smart. I understand. See, because what you're saying is you want a bunch of workers. And
no,
you know what they say.
I don't.
You say there's
I want what you want. I want a whole bunch of people that just can think. Can you imagine the inventions that these kids could come up with?
The world is ran by like what 1% of the world. There's like 1%ers of the world that run the world. You know what I mean? Then there's like 5% of the world that know what's going on, that actually know how to maneuver through the world. And then they said the other percentage of the world is basically programmed to work. You know what I mean? Like that's what it is. Like you are literally programmed to work, and it's like school is basically structured just like the workforce every day. You know what I mean? And it's like this new age of generations of kids is breaking out of that cycle of realizing that like I don't need to go to work like you're structured 9 to 5 to make $80,000 or $90,000. You know what I mean? And it's just like the way you would have made $80,000 years ago would have took you back-breaking work.
Oh, yes.
The way they're gonna make $80,000 now, it's like, all right, I'm gonna take 3 hours out of my morning and literally do some research online and really like dig deep for 3 hours, and I'm making 80 grand by the end of the week.
And
you know what I mean?
The result of that is happening right now, and that's called the inflation.
Yeah, and that's another thing, man. Inflation.
Because now you can make money from for OnlyFans.
Yeah.
So what's stopping them from making 8 the prices? Like,
yeah,
you gonna pay for it
$7 a carton of eggs
for afterbirth.
It's like a dozen eggs for Yeah.
You got. Yeah. I'm sorry. This is another episode we can talk about. We can talk about that later.
Word. So definitely, man. It was good talking with you, and I mean, we're definitely gonna see you down the road in the future. Yeah. And we're probably gonna get out and try to get
an application for a cameraman position.
Yeah, we are looking for some folks and stuff. Like I said, we do have a possible co-host coming to the show, and I'd like to introduce him, but we're gonna hold off because we got a meeting with him. Yeah. Word. Well, yo, I want to thank you for coming out to join us live on Black and Tan podcast, brother. And
appreciate it.
Good luck with your ventures and everything. And show them what it is again, man.
Life.
Right there, give it to him. Flight for Life Recordings, man. And it's my man, Absolute. Check him out. He's on all platforms out there. And
YouTube, Facebook, all the same name. Instagram, TikTok. I like TikTok, though. Definitely TikTok.
Back.
Been doing fun.
Back. Peace. Love. Unity.
And her grease.